walk into any commercial gym now and you will see people performing dozens of different exercises, one machine after another, cable variations, resistance bands, stability balls, exercises they saw on Instagram only a few days ago. And many people genuinely believe that more exercises they perform, the more muscle they will build. But after more than 40 years in bodybuilding, competing myself 46 times and winning 17 titles, coaching over 3,500 clients and helping them to get in the best possible shape, I reached a very different conclusion. The problem is not that most people are doing too few exercises. The problem is they are doing too many. Every exercise has a purpose, but not every exercise deserves a permanent place in your program. If I had to build an impressive physique from scratch, and I could choose only 6 exercises, these are 6 I would keep. Not because they are fashionable, not because they are trending on social media, because they have constantly produced results for more than a century. They have helped all the greatest physiques in the bodybuilding history, and they have transformed countless ordinary people into stronger and more muscular versions of themselves. Now, before I begin, let me make something very clear. This is not a list of the only exercises that work. Many exercises can build muscle. These are simply 6 that, in my opinion, give you the greatest return for the time and effort you invest. If you master these 6 exercises, you will never need a complicated training program to build an outstanding physique. So let us begin with number 1. If I had to choose only one exercise for entire upper body, it will probably surprise many people. Not a bench press, not shoulder press, not even barbell row. It would be pull-ups. Very few exercises develop the upper body as completely as pull-ups. Every repetition challenges latissimus dorsi muscle, the teres major, teres minor, rhomboids, rear deltoids, trapezius, even biceps to the point, forearms, and even your abdominal muscles work to stabilize your body. The result is something that every bodybuilder wants. It's a wider back, a stronger upper body, and more impressive V-taper. In my opinion, nothing changes the appearance of a physique more than a wide back combined with small waist and obviously broad shoulders. Because wider your back, your waist appears smaller and your shoulders appear wider. So the entire physique immediately looks more athletic. While performing pull-ups, you should not cheat. I see many people simply pulling themselves up, performing some very funny movements, which they call pull-ups, but they are not. First of all, the grip should be wide, and your elbows should be out, as you can see me performing in this video. You have to lift yourself slowly and lower your body slowly as well. So you need absolutely to pay attention to that time and attention. And I can tell you that this exercise helped me to develop fantastic upper body while I was even 18 years old. During my service in Special Forces, which was mandatory in those days in Yugoslavia, I didn't have many options, many different machines, equipment, or anything like that, because we didn't have a gym in the army. And I would go on the sport grounds. There were some bars there, which I would use as for pull-ups, and I would do pull-ups almost every day. I remember in the beginning I couldn't lift myself 3 times, but after 12 months I was doing number of sets, 7, 8 sets, and the number of reps was anywhere from 20 down to 12. So I was really mastering that exercise, and that probably caused my back to be one of my best body parts. So absolutely fundamental exercise for developing your overall upper body. And now I know what you're thinking. Some people would say, oh, but Dr. Nash, I can't do pull-ups. I can't lift myself up. Well, that doesn't mean that you should completely give up on this idea. If you cannot do pull-ups, as many people cannot, you should do pull-downs. So pull-downs are also excellent exercise. They will deliver almost as much results as pull-ups, but for people who cannot lift themselves, or who cannot perform in the perfect form yet, I advise to start with pull-downs. So pull downs will obviously activate the same muscles as pull-ups, and you can obviously control the weight because you can select the weight that you want. The disadvantage of pull-ups is that you can only lift your body weight, so you can't change that. And if you cannot do that, then start with pull downs, and as you get stronger, keep trying pull-ups, obviously in perfect form, and you will eventually get there. Now, if pull-ups are the best exercise for upper body, then squats dominate the lower body. So the second exercise that I would choose, if I can only choose 6 exercises, will be definitely squats. So generations of bodybuilders performed squats with phenomenal results. Reg Park, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Franco Colombo, Tom Platz, Ronnie Coleman, and you name it, every single one. There are a lot of people who are saying, oh, you don't have to do squats. Well, of course you don't have to do anything. But I am telling you that this is the best exercise for your lower body, especially your quads. Obviously, squats have to be performed in correct form. Again, you have to pay attention to time under tension. I suggest anywhere from 12 to 20 reps per set. And that will determine the weight that you can lift. So I'm not saying that you should become a power lifter and attempt your personal best doing like 1, 2, 3 reps in squatting. No, squats are just another phenomenal exercise that will help you develop your lower body, especially quads, like no other. So you need to perform right number of reps, as I suggested in so many videos, and also right number of sets. Only then squats will be absolutely fantastic exercise, super efficient, and the risk of injuries will be very low if your form is perfect and if the number of reps and sets is as I suggest. By performing squats, you will stimulate entire lower body. So first of all, quadriceps, then gluteal muscles, then adductors, hamstrings, core muscles, lower back muscles, even your upper back will have to support the load. So very few exercises actually recruit so much muscle at the same time as squats do. So this is the reason why by performing this exercise you are benefiting, not only developing your quads, but all the other supporting and participating muscles. Now, some people cannot genuinely do squats. This is due to their skeletal proportions, and also some people have inherited different type of injuries. But this is not a reason to completely eliminate training lower body. So if you cannot do squats, I would suggest you to do either leg press or hack squats, or do both. So start, let's say, with leg press and then continue with hack squats. So both of these exercises can be very effective, especially for people who cannot perform squats. If you can perform squats, you should perform squats and keep that exercise on a regular basis in your training program, because this is absolutely gold. But if you cannot, again, leg press and hack squats in perfect form will help you build your quads as much as your genetics will allow. Now, the third exercise that I would choose, if I have to choose only 6, will be bench press. Unfortunately, this exercise is one of the most misunderstood exercises because people simply compete in performing bench press, compete who can lift more. And I see that every single day in the gym. They're bouncing the weights, they're piling very heavy weights. Obviously, they don't go all the way down, which is absolutely necessary for bench press. And often they use close grip, which will stimulate more their shoulders and triceps than chest. So performing bench press obviously has to be done in perfect form. First of all, again, remember, number of reps that I suggest performing a bench press and all other upper body muscles is 8 to 12. So you have to choose the weight that you can lift 12 reps in the first set, and then keep that weight the same and do as many sets as you can until you reach 8 or drop below 8. That may be 3, 4, 5, 6 sets depending on your fitness level, but this is the principle. This will obviously guarantee you right weight that will help you build as much muscle as possible, but also it will guarantee you very low risk of injuries. Now, the second thing Never use weights which is too heavy and then bounce off your chest. There is no bouncing involved. You are not a power lifter. If you want to build muscle, you train like a bodybuilder. So the weight goes slowly down, all the way down to your chest. You lift the weight up, but you don't lock. So you should be really somewhere around 2/3 of the motion. Make sure that you're going all the way down, but not all the way up. Because if you lock at the top, the tension of your chest muscles will simply disappear. So you don't want to end up there. Another thing that I want to mention, and this is extremely important, that the bench press should be performed with wide grip. So wider the grip, more your chest muscles will be involved, and less your shoulders and triceps. So always keep the grip wider than your shoulders, rather than your shoulders width, or narrower, because narrower you go, elbows will come in and you will be pushing a lot with your triceps and your front shoulders. You don't want that. You want to train your chest. Therefore, the grip has to be wide, elbows should be out, and you're fully expanding your chest, especially at the bottom position, which is the critical position, the most stimulating position for muscle growth for your chest while performing bench press. Why? Because this is where the load is the most effective, in fully stretched position, and your mechanical tension is extremely high. This exercise has done wonders for so many bodybuilders, all the legends, Serge Nubre, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Franco Colombo, Lee Haney, Ronnie Coleman, they all did bench press. So this exercise is absolutely fundamental for developing your chest muscles. Now, if you have any issues with your shoulders, or you cannot perform bench press wide grip in the proper form as I'm suggesting for whatever reasons, you can still do a lot by performing bench press with dumbbells. So you can see in this clip that I'm performing a dumbbell bench press, which is absolutely fantastic, very safe, because it allows every shoulder joint to act on its own. So if you are not, like most people are not actually, symmetrical. Imagine you pull the line in the middle of your body. It's not going to be 50-50. It may be slightly different. That can cause problems with classical bench press performed with barbell. In that case, you should use dumbbells. They will be exactly the same. They will be as effective as performing bench press with a barbell, but you have to keep the principles going all the way down, not locking on the top, wider grip, and you will have no issues. Especially, as I mentioned, people who have some shoulder issues, they will benefit from this one. Also, there are good machines that you can also use, like, for example, hammer strength machines, but still free weights will be a better option, simply because they involve stabilizing muscles, and this is why free weights had a advantage over machines, because with machines you don't use stabilizing muscles. Now, the exercise number 4 that I would choose, if I have to choose only 6 exercises for entire body, will be shoulder press. Now, shoulder press is a basic exercise performed with barbells or dumbbells, and this is the exercise that actually stimulates not only your front shoulder but also your lateral deltoids, also your triceps. If you are doing this without back support, you will also involve a lot your core muscles simply by balancing the weight. And this exercise is absolutely gold for strong, broad shoulders, wide shoulders. Many people spend their whole shoulder workout by using all kind of shoulder exercises, front raises, cable raises, machine raises, all range of different rear delts variations, but none of them is as essential and is better than shoulder press, simply because of that progressive overload. You will never load your shoulders as much as you can load your shoulders performing shoulder press, either with barbell or dumbbells. Now, some people would say, yes, but what about lateral raises? Aren't they the most important for shoulders? Lateral raises are extremely important for shoulders, and I perform them in every single shoulder workout. But remember the purpose of this video. I'm talking about 6 most effective exercises that I would choose if I have to choose only 6. And obviously, shoulder press is much more effective for overall shoulder development than lateral raises. That doesn't mean that you should not perform lateral raises. But again, the purpose of this video is to choose one exercise for each muscle group, which will be the crucial one, the most essential. And again, if you have any problems with your shoulders and you cannot perform barbell shoulder press, you can instead perform dumbbell shoulder press, which is absolutely phenomenal exercise, very effective, allows every single joint, as I mentioned, to work on its own. And also, there are very good shoulder press machines, which I also use often. You can alternate as well, or use that shoulder press machine if you have any issues while performing barbell shoulder press. So all these variations are very good for people who cannot perform barbell shoulder press. But if you can, I would advise you to do it. Now, the exercise number 5 would be barbell curls. This exercise is absolutely bread and butter for building biceps, and everybody has done it. Every single bodybuilder, everybody who has massive biceps has always done barbell curls. Serge Nubre did it, Franco Colombo did it, Arnold did it, Ronnie Coleman did it, Jay Cutler did it, Phil Heath did it, and every single one. There is absolutely no bodybuilder who didn't do barbell curls. Why? Because barbell curls are the most effective exercise simply because of the overall load that you can move. The overall load that will cause mechanical tension like no other exercise in barbell curls is the key for superiority of this exercise compared to any other exercise. Mechanical tension will only occur if the load is the highest. Obviously, form is everything. So you have to perform this exercise in perfect form. Again, 8 to 12 reps, slow controlled motions, as you can see me performing in this video. And this will be the bread and butter for your biceps development. Now, the 6th exercise that I would choose will be triceps pushdown. This exercise is often underestimated, and simply people are trying to compete again and lift as much as possible by ruining the form. So the most important thing to remember is that when you perform triceps pushdowns, your elbows have to be stationary. They must not move forward and backwards, because the moment they move forward, when you perform that exercise, you will start the exercise by using your back, and you should avoid it. So don't worry about the weight. The weight should be as much as you can use, again, to perform 8 to 12 reps in X amount of sets. So the triceps pushdown will give you fantastic results, but you need to understand that this exercise is also safest for your elbow joint. So no other exercise is as safe as triceps pushdown. That doesn't mean that you should not do anything else. In my bodybuilding blueprint course, I suggest 3 different exercises for triceps, but I always start with triceps pushdown simply because it's the safest and also allows your elbows to fully warm up before you start doing something else, like, for example, French press. Again, if I have to choose one exercise for triceps, that would be cable pushdowns. Now, some people may say, oh, but why do you need barbell curls and triceps pushdowns when we use biceps while performing back muscles, exercises for back muscles, and also we use triceps while we are performing all these kind of presses for chest and shoulders? This is true, but it's true up to the point. What you need to understand is that if you want to fully develop optimally your biceps and triceps, you need to exercise them with specific exercises, because when you perform pull-ups or bent over rows, you are not training your biceps. You're using it, but you're not fully extending and contracting the muscle. And if you want to develop biceps fully, you need to fully extend and fully contract biceps. And that is the reason why you need to train biceps fully in a separate training session with triceps, preferably, because you can fully focus on full extension and contraction, so full eccentric and concentric motion. That will never happen while doing pull-ups, pull-downs, bent over rows, and similar. The same applies to triceps. when you perform bench press wide grip, as I advise, you will use your triceps. You have to. You can't perform bench press without using the triceps, but you will minimize the participation of your triceps within the exercise. So your triceps is not trained while you're performing bench press simply because you do not fully extend your triceps and clearly fully contract your triceps. Therefore, triceps has to be trained in a separate session, preferably with biceps, so you can fully focus on eccentric and concentric parts of every repetition. So now you understand why you have to train your biceps and triceps fully separately, because while performing back movements or chest movements, you will be using them up to the point, but you will definitely not be fully training them. So before we finish, let me tell you this. There is probably one exercise that you have expected to see in the list, and this is deadlift. So why didn't I include deadlift? First of all, let me be very clear. Deadlift is an excellent exercise for powerlifters. If you're a powerlifter, you simply have to perform this exercise because it's one of those three major movements that powerlifters perform in order to compete. Now, this exercise will involve lots of muscles in your body, starting with quads, glutes, lower back, shoulders, biceps, brachialis, brachioradialis, other forearm muscles, and that's all fine. But don't forget that I'm only interested in building muscle and burning fat while keeping you safe. So, powerlifting exercise number one, deadlift, is not a bodybuilding exercise. There are many reasons for that. I will tell you only the most important reasons why you should not perform classical deadlift. First of all, this exercise is very dangerous. I have seen myself dozens of cases, people in front of me performing deadlift, rupturing their biceps tendons, rupturing their knees, injuring badly their lower back, also causing hernia in the abdominal area, very common when people who are religiously performing heavy powerlifting style deadlifts. You may be in love with this exercise, you may be doing it yourself. The reason why most people are doing it, because they can progress quickly. So even if you're a beginner and if you can lift 100 kgs deadlift, within few months you will be lifting 160. So you had made some progress on the paper. But the risk that follows this progress, which is not going to materialize in muscle growth, you're not going to get bigger legs, bigger back, or bigger biceps by doing deadlifts. You're just developing the strength, ability to lift the heavy object from the floor up. That's it. And if that is your goal, if you're a powerlifter, fine. But if you're a bodybuilder, the benefits are very low and the risk is very high. So injuries, again, shoulder injuries, back injuries, lower back injuries, knee injuries, biceps tendons torn, hernias caused so often because of this exercise, are simply removing this exercise from my program and the list of preferable exercises. None of my clients is performing classical deadlift. I don't do it. 99% of professional bodybuilders never did it because they don't have to do it. Now, what do I do for lower back? I do hyperextensions, extremely effective, 100% safe, targeted area, 100%, just lower back. Also, I perform straight legs deadlift for my hamstrings, but this is a different story. Again, I explain this in detail in my bodybuilding blueprint course, how these exercises have to be performed in perfect form to give you maximum benefit with minimum risk of injury. So yes, I perform straight legs deadlift, but this is a hinge movement and the legs are fully straight, locked. And this exercise is completely different than traditional deadlift. So once again, because of the high risk of deadlift, I do not include this exercise in top 6. Now that you have seen my choice, you have perhaps noticed something. They are not complicated exercises, not unstable movements, not circus tricks. No social media inventions. Every exercise on this list has survived for decades. Some of them have survived more than 100 years. And that should tell us something. Good exercises, they don't become outdated. Human anatomy hasn't changed. Muscle growth hasn't changed. Only fitness trends have changed. Today, people are constantly searching for something new. New exercise, new split, new machine, new technique, new secret. But very often, the people who progress the most are not doing anything revolutionary. They simply become exceptionally good in the fundamental exercises that I have mentioned. They squat better, they perform better pull-ups, they bench press with better technique, they apply progressive overload exactly as I have explained in so many videos. Obviously, they recover properly, and they then repeat the process week after week, month after month, year after year. And I often tell my clients, your muscles don't care whether an exercise is popular or not. They don't care about how many likes you are receiving on social media. They don't care whether the exercise is invented last week. Your muscles simply respond to one thing, and this is mechanical tension. And remember, bodybuilding is not about collecting exercises, it's simply about mastering the most effective exercises. So after more than 40 years in bodybuilding, competing 46 times, winning 17 titles, and coaching over 3,500 clients, I have published for you 13 ebooks which are fully loaded with detailed explanation about everything that you always wanted to know about bodybuilding. So if you're interested in deepening your knowledge and widening your horizons, simply click on that link in the comments and you can download my ebooks. I have also published for you Bodybuilding Blueprint course, which will help you to learn how to perform most effective exercises for all muscle groups. So if you're interested in learning the perfect form of execution of most effective exercises and stop wasting time in the gym, click on the link in the comments and you can access my Bodybuilding Blueprint course. So guys, if you have enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, like the video, share the video, send me your comments, and also join free membership on my website, in which I have great offers for every single member. And until the next video, I wish you all the best.